now.
Welcome in, Sharpen the Point. It's our Sunday night football-ish watch along. I mean, we're not watching the game, but it's on, and you're probably watching.
Oh,
So I
I'm
guess
full
that kind of works. Yeah, I mean, I have it on over here. Honestly, I'm pretty connected to Sunday night baseball this week because my fantasy baseball team has, in the 2-week semifinal, has scrapped back from dead in the water to on the verge of clinching a spot in the championship here. So I'm locked in on that game. Just end it. That's all I got to do. Let's just end that game as quickly as we can. But no one here cares. No
It's
one
on
in
the
the
line. Everybody
yeah,
here's looking for college.
yeah, and that's the thing. But I'm sure you probably have a Sunday night football game on. So do we. So maybe we look at someone occasionally like last week we looked over and like, oh, James Cook, huh? So maybe this time it'll be like, oh, Jordan Mason, huh?
I'm hoping. I captained him in my showdown lineup at 8% ownership, so I'm hoping.
I went with the Vikings defense. That's where I went with the captain spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great start.
We'll see.
But regardless, we're talking college football, and I kind of poo-pooed this week last Sunday.
Hell of a game. Hell of games this week. Like
great games, top to bottom, great games.
Every single time slot had a banger in it. So
yeah, every one of them.
Yeah. And if you looking ahead to next week, by the way, it's banger after banger too. I'm excited for that week as well.
Yeah, and I think the reason this week really ended up being such a banger, obviously the games were great, which is part of it. But you also had and I understand we're in this college football playoff era where not everything is a must win, but we certainly had teams that were on the brink. Yeah. And had to have it types of games for the first time. And obviously you don't really have that in week 2 or week 1 because somebody's playing, somebody doesn't matter. But you had a couple of them. One of them this weekend, which was the noon slate banger, was that Clemson Georgia Tech game. Clemson in the had to have it mode because they were staring down the gun barrel of 1 and 2, and they're there. They've looked bad against LSU. They looked worse against Troy in their only win. This week they've looked competent-ish compared to how they looked in the first 2, but the Bees are just plucky.
I'd argue that one guy looked competent. It was my guy, Bryant Wesco, just absolutely dominated. He was the sole set of offense. Gideon Davidson did make an appearance and got his first carry. But it goes back to our boy sitting behind me, Haynes King. There's a reason he's back there. He carried that roster. 100 yards rushing and a touch. Eric Rivers actually looked really good. I was really happy about that, considering the hype that I put behind him in the preseason. So, him transferring over from FIU really makes a difference. He's probably an upgrade, in my opinion, on Eric Singleton, just slightly better version. But we pegged Georgia Tech as a team that is a ACC contender, and they're certainly in the running at the moment.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, you have to say I think the favorites in the ACC would be them and Miami. I mean,
Miami this year, I swear they're my SMU from last year. Like, if you've listened to the show for any period of time, for any more than this year and into last year, I was poo-pooing SMU the entire season, and all they did was keep winning. I did not believe South Florida was going to beat Miami, but Miami laid a beat down 49-12. Byron Brown, 274 passing. They're a contender. If they win out, they win. They're in the playoff, guaranteed. They're a cinch. I think the AAC title winner is a lock to be in this playoff.
Between them, Tulane, Memphis.
Yeah, I would say it's Tulane, Memphis, and USF, and that trio right there has some. Two of them have a banger of a game this week coming up too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games, and on the last ideas on the Clemson Georgia Tech front, I know we talked about Haynes King as a early season chance to win the Heisman type of guy with just winning. Obviously, he sat out last week, but the stats again, I mean, 200 yards passing, not the greatest game in the world, but 100 yards on the ground. It's just a really gritty player that just, I mean, it works. And then the other one was the decision to kick that super long field goal, getting stuck there and banging it home. I don't know how that ball ended up going to the uprights. It was going right. It came back left. It went back right. and then somehow came back left again. I don't know what kind of spin you put on the ball to make that happen, but it did
Yeah,
it.
it knuckled. It definitely had to. It was a knuckle puck. It
I,
was just moving all over the place.
I did like, oh no, he missed it. Oh, he got it. Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
full knuckle puck.
so Clemson at this point, 1-2, only 0-1 in the ACC. So in theory, the ACC certainly not out of the question. But in regards to how they're playing, um, they've got a good stretch to quote unquote get right. Syracuse at home, at North Carolina, at Boston College isn't exactly the toughest stretch in the world. It's SMU, Duke, Florida State after that, and then at Louisville. But
That's
um,
4 real tough games too, and that Louisville game's a Friday night game at Louisville.
yeah, so where are you right now on what Clemson has? I mean, at this point, they pretty much have to run the table. I have a hard
I
time imagining a 2 losses is getting them into the ACC title game with the way Georgia Tech and Miami are playing. Florida State as well in the top 10.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think 2 losses in the ACC get you in this year.
No, I think they have to run the table, and that would get them to the title game, and then they're gonna need a win. Honestly, they gotta win the ACC title to get in, really.
Right.
It's kinda where they're
Yeah.
at.
It's hard to say it's over for them, but it feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put a fork in them right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can go ahead
Tyler
and
from Spartanburg's gonna be making a call Monday morning.
um what was our 2:30 or the 3:30 banger was the Georgia Tennessee game.
Yeah.
I was heavy on thinking Georgia was winning this game. I didn't really buy Tennessee. But boy, Tennessee made scoring on Georgia look so easy early. It was
It
just
was it was App
points.
State from 2 years ago. Joey Aguilar showed up, the year he threw for 30 touchdowns. Chris Brazzell, I mean, 3 touchdowns, 178 yards. He was just mossing dudes all over the field. We haven't seen that, in a while. So, and Tennessee really lacked a run game.
Yeah,
Surprising.
Georgia found theirs the first time in a long while that they were able to run the ball and run it that way. They struggled to run against Marshall, and they ran the ball fairly well there, closed it well. It's funny, my wife and I were at a dinner to watch the Miami game with some friends. Obviously, we weren't Miami folks, but the friends were, and we left that restaurant we were at with, I think it was Georgia was down like 11 or was it 8, whatever it was, and like we got home and they were like doing like the thing on the TV, like in the first overtime, teams get the option to take the ball from the 25, and I was like, they're in overtime.
Yeah.
Like I was just like I should have known that they weren't dead, but I guess shocker, they were right there in it. I had a good bit of Georgia on my roster, so I my DFS lineups turned out pretty well from that.
Yeah. Gunnar Stockton had a heck of a game at 300 yards, ran the ball pretty well. He looks like the real deal. Honestly, he looks like an upgrade from Carson Beck from a year ago. And then Zachariah Branch is just a weapon. He's Arian Smith, but can catch. And Nate Frazier managed to hold on to the football and not fumble. So that's a big difference for them. I think this Georgia defense is good. I just think Heupel had their number for the entirety of this game.
Locked in on that little weird play, JJ McCarthy fumbling all over himself there. Yeah, could
Yeah, he just
distracted me for a
vomited.
second. Yeah. The 4 o'clock window game was the Miami USF game. We briefly touched on that. I know you said you not really doubt Miami. You don't really. South Florida feels like a playoff team to you. Anything there that we want to touch on beyond? I think you really kind of covered it all.
No, I mean, Mark Fletcher looked like himself from 2 years ago. So that's a very interesting development for sure. And you were ahead of the game there, and that was partly why your team did so well.
Yeah, that was there was one time they were up by a ton there at the end, and I was like begging for the Fletcher touchdown because it would have not nudged me into the top like 165 or 150 or so.
Yeah.
And naturally they ended up throwing it. They got it called off the board, and then Beck ends up throwing like a 3-yard touchdown to someone else. I'm like, well, that makes me sick.
Yeah.
Otherwise around the country, I know we got the banger in the nightcap, and I'm trying to see if I can hold on to that one. LSU Florida was a snooze fest.
I was gonna say I'm disappointed you didn't lead the show with DJ Lagway.
Well, look, we talked about it last week. I feel like we have been the show on in terms of DJ Lagway, and I've brought it up a handful of times on Arch Manning's behalf, but we've been the I want to see it before I believe it show, and that we've continually been. I guess it makes us ahead of the curve on DJ Lagway, where it's been. I just still haven't seen it from him. Like I don't know what it is. Like we just keep like, well, he's gonna be a star.
Yeah,
At some point, he's got to do it.
I will say he did finally throw for 287 yards. He just completed a lot of passes to the other team. So that was a bit of an issue. The 5 interceptions kind of negated the positivity I had from the 287.
Well, a lot of the 287 was a lot of screens. They were trying to counteract the LSU blitz because LSU blitz is like on every snap. A lot of it on screens.
Yeah, Vernell Brown though looks like the number one. Called that early in the year
and played well. He played really well.
Yeah, Jaden Ball looked very good, looked the part. So there's pieces here. I just don't trust Lagway to do much with it at this point. He's completing a good number of passes, but overall, their defense looks decent.
Yeah, I think the defense there is good. I think the defensive line is very good. They're going to win like 4 games. The schedule is just too tough, and Lagway just doesn't have it. At least at this point, I don't know if whenever they decide to fire Billy Napier, it works out and things flip around on its head or whatever. But right now they've got nothing, and he's just a guy. He doesn't really have the breakaway speed. He's not overly powerful. He made a great touch. The touchdown pass is a fantastic touch throw. And then, like I said, everything that followed afterwards was just hitting safeties between the numbers. I mean, look, LSU's defense is fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and argue it. They lost their star middle linebacker early in that game to a targeting ejection. They lose the backup to him, which was, of course, his brother, to a knee injury. They went to like a kid who probably should be a high school senior, who's like the third Weeks brother on the roster. And that defense was still lights out. They gave up nothing. Yeah. So how much of that is LSU's defense? Probably some, but Lagway at this point is just I don't know if it's a Billy thing or if he's just not figured it out, but it's not happening at this point.
I just think it's not there. Like he was touted to be this mobile guy. He's not. Have some mobility. It's not there. He can't really. He's accurate. Now, from an arm standpoint, I was thinking about this because realistically, he threw the ball fairly well, and it was fairly accurate, even on the short throws. We haven't really seen him stretch the field and go deep. I mean, their longest pass play was 25 yards. He threw that one bomb that got called back to Jaden Ball, who got lost. But even then, it was underthrown.
Yeah, it was a broken coverage, big time.
Yeah, it was just a broken coverage play. Is the arm talent similar to Nussmeier? Like, could we view this as a Nussmeier situation where Lagway's decision-making just sucks? And if we put him in this system at LSU, can he be Nussmeier?
Well, the fun thing is with LSU, the offensive system LSU's run through 3 weeks has been horrible. Awful. I don't know what they're trying to do on offense. The offensive play calling is like they're trying to hide the quarterback. I know it's because they're really, I assume, trying to hide the offensive line.
Yeah.
But when they actually drop back and pass 3 times a game, it feels like they pick up 15, 20, 25 yards on just a simple out route or something. But they don't ever drop back to pass. Everything they do is quick hit screen, RPO, quick hit screen, bubble screen. It's a really boring, uninspired version of some kind of fun offense that, like, when they did it against Clemson, I was kind of like, okay, I get it. Clemson's defense is very strong. You're on the road. You know, you're going to try to just first game, get them caught pumped up and try to slip some quick plays on screens. I get it. For game 3 to still be Like all we can really do is quick screens and 2-yard runs. I don't know what they bring to Ole Miss, but I'm very interested what that game looks like in 2 weeks because otherwise this offense is broken at this point.
Well, yeah. So Caden Durham at least showed a sign of life with that 51-yard run.
Yeah.
Outside of that, hardly anything. Nussmeier barely completed over 50% of his passes. Aaron Anderson, the clear number one.
He had a
But
horrendous interception as well in terms of
yeah,
bad decision making. Horrendous.
yeah. Well, that was a classic Nussmeier Baylor game, hitting the guy in between the numbers. Now you brought up Ole Miss. I do want to touch on them, so we might as well transition there.
Yeah, I'm ready to go there. That's good.
I don't think Austin Simmons is going to be healthy by the time they get to LSU. That was a high ankle sprain and a half. I've been through that. His ankle was taped in a position that they hoped he could pick that foot up and put it down, but he had zero mobility. They're going to have to rely on Trinidad Chambliss going forward. And he threw for 353 yards. Lane Kiffin, doesn't matter who you put back there. You put me at quarterback, and we're going to throw for 300 because Lane Kiffin just designs it up unbelievably well. Kejuan Lacey, terrible game, 44 yards and a touch. But, I mean, this offense just can chuck it, man. And they got a decent run game, I think, but their defense sucks. Like, that's why everybody was kind of questioning me on the live show as to why I was playing Taylon Green so heavily. He threw for 300 and ran for another 100. Like, they dominated them on offense. It was just the fact that Ole Miss outscored them. That's all it was.
Yeah,
Like,
and remember I was pushing Arkansas money line last week on the show.
Yeah, and they covered. It was opened at 7.5. When we looked at it, they covered the number. It went down, but they covered the original number. It was just barely. But like Ole Miss is in trouble. I know they're 3-0 and 2-0 in the SEC, but that defense stinks, man. Their defensive line is awful compared to where it was a year ago or 2 years ago with those refrigerators that they bought. I mean, they don't have anybody right now. They've got a really solid offense, and either quarterback can operate within it. But I think you're looking at a month before Austin Simmons is back healthy. And I think if they trot him out against LSU, he's not going to be mobile enough and at risk of getting hurt. He's very much in that high ankle sprain stage. I think he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a point where you're talking about a month till he's healthy. That does give them the chance. I mean, they get Tulane, that LSU game you mentioned, and Washington State all at home. Then they go back-to-back games at Georgia and at Oklahoma before South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State. The schedule isn't particularly difficult. I mean,
no, but the middle portion is tough. There is some games that they could drop. There's some games they could win. So, there's some difficult trip up spots in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I see 3 really tough ones, and obviously LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma. We'll see what South Carolina looks like as they obviously this week with the Sellers concussion makes a huge difference there. But I don't know.
What were the books thinking? Let's go to that game. What were the books thinking? I literally got South Carolina. I immediately got information that Luke Doty's in the game. Sellers is out. And I was heavy on Sellers early in the week. I got off and started going heavy on Taylon Green. As soon as I got word that Sellers was out of that game, it was a 14-point game. It was 21-7. And the books gave me live South Carolina minus 10.5. I knew South Carolina's not scoring with Luke Doty, who's like an 8th-year senior who was a quarterback that they said, you stink too bad, so we're going to make you a tight end or a wide receiver. They did that, gave him the full Tannehill treatment, and then next thing you know, he's the backup quarterback again, literally 6 years after he started the last time. No way I'm playing that kid. And they just had nothing on offense. Diego Pavia, I don't know. Did you see the clip, by the way, in that game of Theo Vaughn saying that Diego Pavia promised him a date with his mom if they beat South Carolina? It was hilarious. He said, I don't know if I really want to be Diego's stepdad. Imagine the conversations in that household.
Yeah, no.
That would be a good one. But yeah, Nick Harbor looks decent as a wide receiver for them. Rasul Faison really took over. Oscar Attaway was just gone from the offense, apparently. Sellers did not look good even before he left the game. I mean, Vanderbilt is not great. They're 3-0, but South Carolina is stick a fork in them right now. They just don't have anything outside of Sellers that gives me hope for them on offense, and their defense is Dylan Edwards or Dylan Stewart and a whole bunch of Jags.
Yeah, it's a tough week for them. Obviously, they haven't really looked exciting. The biggest win they've got is the Virginia Tech one in Atlanta. Of course,
That
Tech
doesn't
just
look good.
fired their coach already. So
I was getting there. Old Dominion.
yeah, I mean,
Old Dominion, 28-0 at half. I mean,
yeah.
Brett Pry got the can. I texted my dad last night. I go, it's 28-0. I said, I think Brent Pry's getting fired this week. My dad goes, well, if it's not this week, it's going to be a few weeks. And then this morning, I woke up to Brent Pry being fired.
Well, and for those again, we're doing the retroactive. If you listen to last year's show, but last year Virginia Tech was your playoff sleeper ACC title game a team, and I had SMU, which again, fun in hindsight. We don't get them all right, but sometimes they're fun when they work out that way.
It's fun when you can poke at me. It's fun. I
Yeah, that's
enjoy
what we're
it.
here
I
for.
think it's
Yeah.
funny. Speaking of coaches getting fired, you see Deshaun Foster got fired as well. UCLA gave him the boot.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, but the amount of people who keep going like, man, Nico really messed up. And I'm like, I just think the guy realized that he sucked. I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. I think the family looked around and said, hey, man, we need to get the bag now because this ain't going to work out.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Nico, man, that was bad. that performance last week was, gee whiz. I mean, no wonder. I feel terrible for Deshaun Foster. I'm sure the guys told him you need to play him, but golly. I mean, Tennessee fans feel really vindicated right now with Joey Aguilar instead of Nico.
Well, quickly on the South Carolina front, just because we mentioned it, we talk a lot about Florida's upcoming schedule, but the South Carolina one, you said put a fork in them. Upcoming is at Missouri this week, and we know Missouri looks great.
They're going to get smoked.
Yeah, Kentucky at LSU, Oklahoma, Bama at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, Coastal, and then Clemson to close the year.
They might not make a bowl.
Yeah, they just don't look good. I mean, and look, I get it's a long season; things can change. They can figure something out, but at this point, unless Sellers finds Superman mode again, I just don't know how you can carry this team all the way to the end again. It felt like he really just shouldered too much of the load last year and can't really do it again. But we'll see. He's got time to figure it out. He's got time to see if that's still in his bag.
So where do you put Sellers? Because I actually did see somebody the other day saying that South Carolina is wasting a generational talent. I don't know that he's a generational talent. Like,
we throw
I
generational
think
talent around way too much.
I think you could legitimately argue that Diego Pavia is a better college quarterback than Lenoris Sellers. For college, not pro prospect, nothing like that.
I hear you, but I'm trying to think of. I mean, Lenoris dragged that team at the end of last season by himself.
He did, but that defense
Pavia's
was
doing the same
stout.
thing. The defensive line was fantastic as well.
They
I don't know.
had, I think, 8 guys go to the NFL from that defense last year.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, yes, I'm not arguing that fact, but in terms of Pavia, but I mean, it's not. I have to think about it. I'm not willing to immediately say no. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. It's not an immediate. That's stupid.
But we threw generational talent around for Arch Manning, and it's the same thing I told you before the season.
We're throwing that around because of his last name. You know,
I was going to say that one is a literal
commercials.
A literal generational talent. Like that one is more genetic talent, I think. But
yeah, he's the generation for that.
But generational talent doesn't really. I mean, it's Julio Jones, right? Like that's when we talk about generational talent. Cam Newton. I mean, I wouldn't
when
even argue.
Say Julio Jones, my mind immediately goes to Patrick Peterson intercepted that football.
Yes, he did. Okay, here we go. He did, but no, I wouldn't say he's generational talent in terms of where he lines up in college football. I mean,
I think he's a good quarterback.
And I saw some discourse about this online. I don't know who is the best quarterback in the country. And I understand college football wise, it's probably John Mateer college football wise. But if I'm going to argue, like who would be first round draft picks next year. The guys that we entered this year with like, well, it's going to be Nussmeier. Well, it's going to be Arch Manning, and it's going to be Lenora Sellers, and it's going to be, down down the list.
I think Sawyer Robertson and John Mateer are probably right now playing the best two out of the quarterbacks in the country.
Well, the list
Sawyer Robertson's playing unreal.
I mean, but like, so we sat here and said like these are the NFL quarterbacks, and
oh yeah, but that's that's different because like Drew Aller doesn't need to do anything, and he's going to be considered to be a top 15 pick in the draft.
Yeah, but I think he sucks too. I mean,
he's built like Josh Allen. Like that's what they're buying. You know what I mean? They don't want to buy. I mean, Nussmeier, same thing. Like Nussmeier's going to be considered in that category. We're watching JJ McCarthy. Like, what did JJ McCarthy ever do at Michigan that makes you think that? I mean, they did call it third and JJ, but
I mean, it was that one play. I mean, but
y'all poo-pooed JJ McCarthy for years. I said, hey, JJ's fine, man. Look at him. He really good completion percentage on third downs. And
I think he sucks. I still think he sucks.
Well, he just threw an interception, so that makes you feel better.
Yeah. All right, great. I feel better about it. Yeah, I just don't know who's good. That's where I'm at. Unfortunately, is it just feels like at any given day it's fine. And my friends and I were discussing the Nussmeier thing earlier, and they're like, "Does he suck?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, yeah, to an extent, yeah, they all kind of do. That's college football, but." I mean, when it comes down to it, would I rather have Nussmeier versus anyone else in the country? I'd probably take Nuss.
Y'all's offensive line.
Thank you, Darren.
Agrees with you. With the offensive line at LSU, I would say Mateer might fit you best.
Well, but I think like if I gave you a game right now and said, hey, you have a strong defense, who you're taking as your quarterback with an average offense, and I feel like I'm like, you probably want whichever of the set of 10 quarterbacks you probably have, right? You would say, well, I'm good. Like if I have Mateer, I'd say I'm fine with Mateer. If you have Nuss, like, well, I guess I got to be fine with Nuss. If I've got, Aller, again, thank you, Darren.
How fun would Pavia be in that LSU team right now?
But that's the thing, right? Like Pavia might be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in college football.
As a college quarterback, yes. I'm not no NFL hype, but
no, not at all.
College.
But it almost feels like the way we're running college offenses, the way college offenses are being played, I almost have to pick a quarterback who's just going to run for 100 yards in the game because it seems like the only way that the offenses can move the ball. Otherwise, the ones who are throwing it like Bayron Morton, no one cares.
Hey, you do not put my boy Bayron down.
But no one cares. We just did the whole conversation. Morton didn't even come up at all.
Yeah, but he's always in the back. Look, who hasn't been mentioned, and I would mention him. He's undefeated right now.
Oh,
yeah, thank you. Rocco Beck should be the number 1 pick in the draft. I believe it. But I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm just leaving that carrot dangling out there. That 150-1 Heisman futures out there, baby. When he runs the table, he's in there.
Can we just quickly touch on that A&M Notre Dame game? The one that ended the night, the banger from the late slate, that was just fantastic.
Yes. So Marcel Reed showed out 360 passing. Mario Craver is a demon after coming over from Mississippi State with over 200 yards receiving. That little stack made me some nice money when I was tilt entering teams late in the night. Jeremiah Love, 23 carries. That's what we want to see. Thank you. But where's the defense for these teams, man? Where is the defense?
Yeah, I couldn't believe how easily A&M went down the field on that last touchdown drive. Mm-hmm. The first play was just a simple slot in running slant, bang, 40 yards, and I was like, wow, that was pretty easy. Even the game-winning touchdown, like he double clutched it, and I was like, oh, can't double clutch the goal line on 4th. Oh my God, he's still gonna get a catch. Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe that he was so open at that point in the end zone that he was able to double clutch a lot. I'm not even sure if I'd call it a fade. It wasn't really a fade. It was just like a hope and pray your guy gets up to this ball that's up in the open. I get he's big, but it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that was so easy.
Yeah. I don't. Here's the question: is Notre Dame done now? Can they make the playoff if they run the table?
Well, the correct answer to this is yes, because Notre Dame, who is currently winless as we enter week 4, is ranked number 24.
That's crazy. Well, they don't have a win. So they only have 2 tough games left on the schedule. They got Boise, which isn't really a tough game for them. Shouldn't be, because this is not the best Boise team that they've had in the last 10 years, probably.
Right.
And I don't know that Boise runs the table either. But then then the other game is USC, which I don't know that Notre Dame with this defense currently as constructed is not beating this USC team, because that USC team, as much as I'm a Rocco and he's 100% in the top 3 quarterbacks that I love is Jaden Maeva. Like Rocco 1, Bayron 2, and Maeva 3. I mean, I love those 3 guys. So Maeva looks great. He's got 2 twin towers that are just dominating on the outside. Wayman Jordan looking wonderful as well.
Would it surprise you if they lost to Arkansas?
Notre Dame?
At Arkansas?
Not is it hunting season yet when they're playing there or no?
September
That's a big
27th.
deal.
September
Okay,
27th. Yeah.
It's not hunting season, so they'll actually have a crowd there. There'll be a crowd there.
That's
That's going to be tough. Yeah. That's going to be tough.
It would not shock me if they lost.
No.
I mean, I'd be like, wow, guess they were overrated. But I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh.
It wouldn't be a shock.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, to say they're done. I mean, I don't understand how they're ranked. Like they're like them in Missouri. You're like neck and neck, and I'm like, I think Missouri's clearly a better team based on what I've seen. We're doing the quality loss thing, but you can give them quality losses if they don't have any wins.
Yeah, is it a quality loss though when you haven't started yet? I mean, really, the season's just started. We don't know if these teams are good or not.
Well, and you're not like 1-2 with 2 top 10 losses and a win against someone halfway decent. You haven't won anybody. You haven't beaten anybody. How can you be ranked?
Yeah,
I don't understand it. And what have you shown? You were terrible offensively in the first game and then terribly defensively in the second game. I don't know how you vote for them. I saw Brett McMurphy voted for them like number 12 in the country, and I was like, I don't know how the hell you do that. I don't. They're 0-2. You can't be like number 12.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
So if I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to next weekend, I mean, I don't know where else to start, but the first game being in Salt Lake City at like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.
Oh, buddy. Oh, you're pulling at my heartstrings. I thought you were going to save that bad boy.
Well, it's the noon game. First one of the day.
I know, but yeah. Yeah, well, I feel you.
That's Darren ain't going to be up all night waiting for us to get to that game. I mean,
I hear you.
Here's my issue. I called it the noon game, but I know it's on Fox, so that means it won't kick off till like 12:46.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you want to talk Bayern, or you want to talk about your love for Utah, who continues to climb?
Dude, how hard is this game going to be for me to sit there and watch and just have Devin Dampier and Wayshawn Parker apparently has gotten booted to the curb. Now Nakari Rogers is taking over as the running back. I mean, Utah is a 3.5-point favorite at home facing this Texas. I think this Texas Tech team is legit because they went out and Cody Campbell bought them a defense and a defensive line, specifically David Bailey. I think Texas Tech wins this game outright. I just do. I think you're going to have multiple teams in this conference go undefeated or one loss. And this is going the Big 12 is very top heavy this year.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. Between Texas Tech and Utah, obviously Utah is kind of a surprising run. I know Texas Tech hasn't really played anybody, but they've been dominant in the games they have played.
Yeah.
Houston looks very good in this conference. There's some really good teams, and then you have Oklahoma State plays football. Colorado has a team as well, I'm told.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Martin Luther Staub out there just slinging the rock.
Yeah, they well, yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I like Tech here, although going to Salt Lake City forever tough. 10 a.m. kick or whatever this is a mountain time, feels weird. But yeah, I mean, I'll gladly take 3.5 points in this one, and in a game that I think is a pretty fair coin toss, and I think likely ends close.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Lots of points scored in that one.
You just mentioned we've talked about the Arkansas team a few times. They're heading to Memphis.
I think that's a heck of a game.
That's a close game in terms of proximity that I'm sure will bring a lot of both fans, which should make that a lot of fun. It's not hunting season, as you mentioned.
Yep.
So I think that one can be a really fun watch on ABC. I really like your options for the
Yeah, the
early
noon
morning
slate.
quad box here. Yeah, because I mean you get the Syracuse Clemson watch if you're really interested to see if Clemson is dead and can drop one to Cuse. And then you've got, I think another really fun one is that SMU TCU game.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be a blast. Which shockingly, TCU favored by 6.5 against SMU. Now, I think that might be, and I need to look into this. I think Kevin Jennings got banged up in the game last week or this yesterday. So I don't know if Kevin Jennings is okay or not okay. But that could make a big difference. Josh Hoover and the boys. This should be a high scoring game, similar to that Baylor SMU game. It's got it written all over it. I think TJ Harden is going to be a tough stop for TCU. And I really like the wide receiver room and how it's kind of condensed down with Romello Brinson, RJ Maryland, and Cooper taking Jalen Cooper kind of taking off at wide receiver. So I like this SMU team. I just think that their defense is a little doo doo. But Josh Hoover and the boys, lots of scuttlebutt. People hating on Eric McAllister because he did not play well the last couple weeks. I think this is an Eric McAllister breakout game right here.
The over under here, 63.5.
Yeah, it's moving up.
Yeah,
It's at 62.5 on this book, and it's minus 115, so it's moving towards that.
yeah, and it's quickly scrolling. It looks like the highest one I've seen, and I mean, I know I see a 67 on here as well. But I mean, that is certainly not a small number. I'm not surprised given the offenses. I mean, we've seen TCU twice. Obviously, the big one that everyone saw was the UNC game, and that was at the Monday night game against Belichick.
Yeah.
And then Abilene Christian, they hung a 42 on them, which is a come down game from that. But I mean, you got to expect points here. So, I mean, in terms of lineups, I feel like this is one you're probably going to be looking towards. Obviously, numbers aren't out yet, but I'm sure that's a game you're looking towards. And I assume Arkansas, Memphis is also going to be on that list. Their total is somewhere in the 60s as well.
Yeah, I would love those. And injury alert's going to end up being Greg DeRozier's, and if he plays for Memphis at running back, because I'm a fan of his, but he missed last week. He was in street clothes.
You give it any chance to Tulane at Ole Miss? Ole Miss is 11.5-point favorite here with a 60.5-point over under in this game.
So I've got it at 12.5.
Mm.
And I did want to hit on this one because Tulane was downright dominant against Duke. And Parker Retzlaff ran for 100 yards and 4 touchdowns. Or Jake Retzlaff. Parker Retzlaff's a NASCAR driver. And Jake Retzlaff, I'm fairly certain, ran for 3 touchdowns. No, he ran for 1. He had 100 yards rushing, and it's Northwestern. Like, he's mobile right now. That's my concern. Can Ole Miss lock up this Tulane offense? I don't know. I think if Retzlaff comes in at sub 6K, he's going to be a big time value play for Tulane. And I will have lineups with him because Taylor Green just ran for 100. Retzlaff is really running the heck out of the football. And Tulane looks pretty good. I mean, they don't need to win this game to be a playoff team, but if they do, they got a shot at even a wild card, or a playoff berth, we'll say, outside of the realm by taking down this game, because now you're going to have wins against Duke and Ole Miss.
A road SEC opponent, a home win over an ACC. I assume a bowl team. I assume Duke will be a bowl game team. Yeah. And you'll be sitting there with Illinois likely as a team kind of in that same realm. You've got a mutual win, I guess, right? They went to Duke and won, you hosted Duke and won. So, I think this is certainly a resume type of game, like you're saying. I don't know if wild card's the right word, like you're saying, but I see it the same way. I think this is one that they can win. I'm happy to take 11.5, though I know Lane likes to run it up when he has the chance, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tulane's in that game. Do you want to talk about Michigan, Nebraska?
Yes, you have to touch on the Bussin' Bowl. I think Nebraska should be favored in this game. Now it's 1.5, and it's the money line's dang near even. You're dropping you're not getting plus money on anybody. I'm leaning Nebraska, but did you see Underwood running last week? He ran for over
He
100.
ran for a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think Haynes had over 100, and Underwood had more than that.
I know. So that's interesting to me. This is a game that will be featured on. This is going to be on the main TV. This Michigan Nebraska game. It's going to be on the main TV because I really do want to see what Raiola looks like in this one. And Justin Jefferson just about took one to the house, but he got about 60 on that. But yeah, I would say Emmett Johnson. Like, that's going to be an interesting game. I think I'm leaning Nebraska, but I don't know whether that's just I don't think Michigan's very good because I don't think they have the weapons necessary. But can Nebraska stop the run sufficiently enough and score enough points with Raiola? I'm buying Raiola. I don't believe in the Michigan passing weapons. So I'm gonna lean on Nebraska. I think Nebraska wins this game because it's at home.
I considered going to this UNC UCF game.
Oof.
I won't, but I considered it. I don't really care to talk about it other than UNC is playing a football game. 2-1 now.
Well, no, it was too long ago. I was going to say, when Scott Frost allegedly, could this be the first ever matchup between a Super Bowl winning coach and an alleged national championship winning coach from the same year? I don't know if Bill won the national championship when Scott Frost claims a national championship. You know what I mean? So that would be fun, though. But that's about the only good thing you're going to see, because the rest of it, the product on the field is going to be massively subpar.
Do you have any interest in North Carolina +6?
Yeah, I'd say so. Especially if Cam Fancher started. Oh no, is Cam Fancher out for the season? They might have lucked out and got Cam Fancher out for the year. I think they lucked out.
Otherwise, you got an NC State Duke game that's moderately interesting for me. West Virginia Kansas is moderately interesting.
Florida
Let's
Miami,
see that.
man. What do you got on Florida Miami? It's Florida +7.5. I think I'm gonna say it. I think you lay Miami -7.5. I think you lay the points.
Let me think about
Miami's looked
Let me
too
think
good. Yeah, think on that.
Miami's looked very good, and that number doesn't quite agree with that. Like, Florida's looked fine, but not really good enough. You have the mutual games of the USF blowout and the USF loss to make me
Yeah.
think that the public will heavily go Miami.
I think this
So
number moves up.
I think it does too, which is why I'm surprised by it. Like, I feel like it should have opened bigger, which then makes me go, I am clearly missing something.
I bet it ends at 9.5. That'd be my guess. I don't think it jumps the 10, the key number, but I also don't think it goes down to 6.5 at a key number.
If Florida loses, Billy Napier's fired.
Ooh. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of games coming down the stretch.
Well, I think they are, but I mean, so they'll be 1-3. He'll be 22-24 overall, and like 9-14 as their head coach against Power 4 teams.
Yeah, but I just thought of something though. If they fire Napier after this game, Lagway can then sit out, redshirt, get his surgery to get his arm and his leg fixed, and then they're out a quarterback for the rest of the season. And the wheels really fall off. That's well within play. The entire team, if they lose this game, people might start sitting. Very well could start sitting, especially if Napier gets fired, because they're going to all enter the portal and take a red shirt. I think that's very possible. That'd be something to keep an eye on. That's going to be something to keep an eye on for every team that once they play their fourth game, who don't we see going forward?
What about, isn't there a thing like they get fired, you can hit the portal, or if the coach gets fired, you can hit the portal or something?
Yeah, but they can't mid-season. That would be crazy, though. You imagine a team that like goes out and gets Lagway and it's like, hey, we're a playoff contender. We need DJ Lagway, and we're gonna
I
go
mean,
get
I
him.
was thinking LSU could call Virginia Tech and try and find some offensive linemen to go with the one that just transferred over.
That'd be ideal. Well, their
Yeah.
offensive line stinks too. So,
Well,
all right. So speaking of that, so Sellers being out, I was waiting for this number to drop. South Carolina is a 12.5 point dog to Missouri. I was hoping this was going to come in sub 10 and I was going to bet it immediately. I think this number pushes more towards 15. I don't know if it clears 14, but it's definitely going to hit 13.5 because Missouri should kick the ever living snot out of South Carolina. Now, Shane Beamer's obviously going to say that Lenore Sellers is going to play, but he has no say in that because, well, it's a head injury and who knows what's going to happen. So I just think Missouri's going to win that game. I just don't know about how much, but it could be a lot because they're better than Vanderbilt.
But even if he plays, don't you think that you would take Missouri? I mean, again, I'd prefer the number to be 9. But even if Sellers plays, I mean, I would.
If
I
Sellers
would still
played, if Sellers played, I would have taken 9.5. I didn't have any problem. That's why I was hoping it was going to open under that, and I was going to be fine with it. But it didn't open very quickly because everybody was kind of waiting on some Sellers news. So that's just kind of where we were at with that game. The Jackson Arnold Bowl, we got to go to that because that's a game. That's a hell of a game. That's going to be on one of the screens too. Bus and Bowl on the main TV, and then Auburn, Oklahoma is one hell of a game. I think people are underrating Auburn. I think Auburn's better than we think, than people think, than the public thinks. 5.5 point spread. Where do you go?
It's funny. The one I got in front of me has 6.5. I think this is a game Oklahoma wins, but I think it's very close. I think Jackson Arnold's going to do the motivated to win kind of thing. I think Oklahoma is going to do the motivated to beat their old guy thing. Where I land on that, I don't know. But Oklahoma getting this game at home, I think, is a big help. I don't like the number at all. I feel like 48.5 might be the number I'm most likely to go at.
That's what I thought. I thought over.
Yeah, I'm thinking over that as well. Darren doesn't think they're very good. What do you think?
I don't like their defense that much. I think they lack some stuff on the defensive side of the football. But I still can't get that bowl game performance out of my head from 2 years ago from when he replaced Dylan Gabriel. Like he can throw it, man. He doesn't. Like they don't let him, but he runs the ball. I don't like Auburn's running backs. I'm fully against that running back room. I don't think it's extremely talented. I think the wide receiver core is their most talented unit. Their quarterback plays fine. I still don't know that we can guarantee that John Mateer is great because we've seen him against Michigan, but I think this is a much worse, it's a more touted Michigan team defense because of what it has been than what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I lean that Oklahoma wins because it's a team that's coming into the game that's one-dimensional, right? You don't have a great rushing attack. The rushing attack is Jackson Arnold. But that's tough if you're going to face Venables and just be the quarterback guy. But Auburn also has the ability to reach over and just spam the Cam Coleman button whenever they feel like, which can certainly work whenever you feel like doing it. I think you've just got two really good, fun, likely heavily motivated quarterbacks in this game. So again, I feel like my spot is 48.5. I don't really like OU 6.5. If it was 2.5, 3.5, I'd feel better about it. But yeah, I mean, I could totally see 24-22 and Auburn's trying to score with Jackson Arnold to win the game at the end. Like where that goes from there, I don't know, but I could totally see that scenario playing out in front of me. And that's where I'm just like, I don't know how that goes.
I could legitimately see anything from 28-24 to 42-28. Like it could be any number. I don't know what Oklahoma's going to do, but I know they're going to score points because they could score it in a variety of ways. They might have found a run game with Blaylock. So we'll see. But, speaking of teams that found stuff, Arizona State put up a good number last week. I don't think we're going to see Kyson Brown in this game. They get Baylor. that's going to be a main game. One of the two top games in that late slate. We've got two bangers in each slate. Baylor favored by 2.5 at home against Arizona State. Who would have seen that coming into the season? Mainly because Baylor didn't even look that good defensively, but Arizona State's looked so putrid on offense against Mississippi State and so one-dimensional that they just lack that second weapon to help Jordan Tyson out right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it's just they don't have another guy, and they really need that. I don't know. I don't think Baylor has looked particularly great, but like you said before the show, I mean, I don't know if anyone's playing better than Robertson at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Levitt's playing fine. I think this is a game where you're going to have a ton of exposure on that late slate. There's going to be a ton of points scored here. Realistically, this number's going up. It's 58.5 on the total. That thing's going over north of 60. I bet it finishes in 62, 63, or 61 at the low end. But this game is an overplay. I think Jordan Tyson just absolutely eats against Baylor, and then it's just a question of, Sawyer Robertson or the run game. I think this could be a Bryson Washington game where we get kind of sucked into thinking Sawyer Robertson is playing great and Bryson Washington ends up running for 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I'm not going to let us go without talking about this Illinois-Indiana game here, obviously. Indiana at home. Illinois continues to, for some reason, feel like they play every single game on the road. Indiana's a 4.5-point favorite, and the over/under is 52.5. I just want to hammer Illinois.
I agree with that. 100%.
I want to just hammer it
because I love.
Give me 4.5 points. I want to swing it the other way. If I have an alternate line, I would lay 4.5 with Illinois.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, Indiana's looked good, but they haven't played anybody. And I don't trust their run game. Lee Beebe got banged up. I don't think Lee Beebe is going to be available. It's going to be down to Kalon Black and Roman Hemby. Elijah Surratt, very talented wide receiver. Omar Cooper had 4 touchdowns this week. Last week it was Surratt with 3. I think their line's okay, but Illinois, man, I mean, Hank Beatty is playing out of this world in the slot right now. They keep giving carries to freaking Caden Fagan. I wish Khalil Valentine would have gotten more work. He finally paid off with a TD late in that game, though. Luke Altmaier's playing great. Everything was about, our wide receivers aren't good enough at Illinois. That was kind of what we were concerned with coming into the year. But the combination of Beatty, Bowick, LZ, I mean, they're chucking it, and they got some weapons on the outside. The defense looks great. I have no issues, and I will be betting Illinois money line, and I'll probably even go heavier on the actual spread, but I'm going to definitely drop some money line bets on them. So, yeah.
I mean, what they did against Illinois or against Duke was dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, like, I'm not here to say like Duke is like the best team in the country, but they went on the road and played a great game. I don't know what I'm missing from Indiana. What it is that I guess I haven't seen. I guess they beat powerhouse Old Dominion, which Virginia Tech didn't do.
Yeah, that is true. You're not wrong.
So,
I mean, that's the thing. I think
anything else?
that's
the Apple Cup grab you?
No, that's gonna be a terrible game. Washington State is all name value from previous years. We haven't. They're not good. Yeah. No.
BYU ECU grab you?
No. I mean, there's a lot of okay out here.
I kind of.
But there's not a lot of great. I mean, there is a lot of very high end games. There's a game I'm not touching on, my underrated game of the week. It's out there, but I'm not going to touch on it.
Of course,
it's not James Madison Liberty. That was in the running, and I'm out on that game now. Although that game opened at Liberty plus 13.5 and got bet down to 10, and I don't know about that because Liberty stinks. Ethan Vasco is their quarterback, and he sucked against JMU every time we played him. So I'm kind of leaning. I'm waiting to see if that number gets lower.
Last question, then we could leave it here. Colorado, Wyoming.
It's at Colorado. If it was at Wyoming, I'd think it was a chance.
Okay,
But
I had to ask.
Yeah, I know.
That Colorado team feels ugly.
Oh, I agree.
Can't be scrambling this many quarterbacks this early, but
Martin Luther Staub, man, he had a dream.
All right.
That's an all-time. Everybody's got to say, man, Dion's funny. If nothing else, he's at least entertaining. Martin Luther.
He knows
Staub.
that entertain the people, and that's what's led him where he's at, man.
He's great.
So that's all I've got.
I'm
excited for the week ahead. Honestly, I left the whole thing, and all I can stop thinking about is how quickly I need to get to my phone and bet this Indiana and Illinois game.
I'm downloading a plug-in just so I can bet on a different site because it's got better. It's got a better line. Yeah. All right, guys, go ahead.
Thanks,
bet
Darren.
on that stuff. Yep, I'm gonna have plenty of content coming all week long on the slates, and we're getting close. So we had a top 150 finish, but
yeah, I think we'll get top 250.
Yeah.